say good morning, Belize, and good morning, and how are you this morning?
In the late 1990s, Belize held its breath. A jailbreak, a city on edge, a fugitive bold enough to call a live radio show. These are the stories of four men: Julian Bush, Wensworth, Winty Mangar, Marcel Gabourel, and Frank Castro. Their flight from the law and the violent, tangled paths that led to capture and death. December 6, 1997. According to police and press accounts, Julian Bush, Marcel Gabourel, and Frank Castro slipped past the fences at Hattieville. The country woke to headlines of a three-man escape. The city braced, officers fanned out, checkpoints sprang up at bridges and bus stops. Shop owners rolled down shutters a little earlier, but 10 days later, fear knocked at a supermarket door. Investigators were later able to tie Bush, Gabourel, and Castro to an attempted robbery at Tang Supermarket in the Kings Park area. It was quick and chaotic. The men held up the shopkeeper, but she responded with equal force and opened fire. Julian Bush was hit mortally and died at the scene. In an instant, the escape turned into a homicide investigation and a manhunt for the survivors. Within days, police alleged the remaining fugitives abducted taxi driver Peter Novello near the Belcan taxi stand while fleeing the city. The allegations shocked Belize. If true, the men had escalated from prison break to robbery, murder, and now a kidnapping investigation. Here's the curveball. Wensworth, Winty Mangar. Unlike the Hattieville trio, officials acknowledged that they made a huge mistake and Mangar was released in error, a paperwork disaster. When the mistake surfaced and officers went looking for him, he was gone. Mangar was on the run, knowing that they were looking for him to lock him back up. In a moment that rewired Belizean media, Mangar called a live talk show, speaking with attorney broadcaster Dickie Bradley. On air, Mangar insisted he'd been framed, said he feared for his life, and claimed he wanted to tell his side before surrendering. He wouldn't share where he was, only that he was listening.
We have a caller, says he's Wensworth Mangar. Sir, you're live.
People should hear me too. They say a lot about me, but no one hear me. I know they run for you play bad man. Either run to stay alive. I want clear my name.
After that on-air call to the Dickie Bradley talk show, the phones exploded. Belize split into camps, those who believed him and those who didn't. Either way, Mangar was now the voice of a manhunt. Reports placed him along the Hummingbird Highway. He made sure to boastfully call the radio stations. One broadcast even quoted him as saying, "He ready to kick up dust in 1998, a taunt that turned him into a folk anti-hero for some, a menace for others. Everyone in Belize, young and old, knew about Mangar. Then on March 15, 1998, officers launched a dawn operation near Valley of Peace, Operation Proper, according to officials. What happened next split opinions. Police said Mangar opened fire. They responded with a controlled double tap to the chest. He died right there instantly in the bushes of Valley of the Peace. Police recovered a rifle from next to his body. And just like that, the folklore of Mangar had ended. Back on the road, Marcel Gabourel and Frank Castro were now Belize's most wanted. Police linked them to the Tang's attempt robbery and the Novello abduction. Novello's taxi was found a few days later, burned with his body in the trunk. Over the next few months, sightings of Castro and Gabourel bounced from Toledo to Cayo. In one report, investigators said Gabourel accidentally shot Castro during a robbery in Punta Gorda, a testament to how chaotic and dangerous the wild robbing spree had become. After that, Marcel Gabourel left the country, but his run ended in Honduras. He was picked up there and returned to Belize in April 1999, facing questions over Novello and other alleged offenses from the escape period. He was brought back in a convoy, back through the border, back to the courthouse steps. Frank Castro, already a convicted offender before the 1997 breakout, was recaptured and returned to prison. Records and press summaries indicate he served roughly 2 more decades in prison, qualifying for parole in 2013. He quietly integrated himself back into the world, but sadly the life never left him. He was brutally murdered in 2015. Julian Bush's story ended within 10 days, killed by a shopkeeper resisting an armed robbery. His death and the fear around it hardened the city's mood toward violent crime. Mangar died during Operation Proper. Officials called it self-defense. His family called it avoidable. In the public record, he's both a cautionary tale about a broken prison release system and a man who chose the shadows and the gun after. For Gabourel, the state pressed forward, extradited, processed, and folded him back into the system he once slipped. His name stayed tied to the Novello case, allegations that still haunt the archives. After release, Frank Castro tried to live quietly in Indianville. But in 2015, a gunman stepped from the shadows and shot him dead near a shop. He was 38. The headline wrote itself, "A violent life, a violent end." Those 2 years changed Belize. Media, talk radio became part of the investigative theater, a fugitive on the line, the nation listening. Newsrooms learned to verify callers, to warn viewers when information was unconfirmed. Policing. Operations stretched from cities to Pine Ridge. Agencies coordinated across districts and borders. The lesson was brutal but clear. One prison slip can mushroom into a national crisis. Public. Shopkeepers and commuters recalibrated. Security grills, early closures. Community tips lit the switchboard. Love or hate the Outlaws, everyone wanted the nightmare to end. 4 names, one era of fear and fascination. Bush, dead at a counter. Mangar, a voice on the air and a body in the bush. Gabourel, stopped at a border and brought home in chains. Castro, quiet for a while, then gone in a flash. If you lived through it, you remember the checkpoints, the rumors, the breath you didn't realize you were holding. And if you didn't, this is how it felt. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment if you remember the 90s manhunts and tell us what we got right or missed. Subscribe for more deep dives into Belizean true history.